Hello, everybody. It is another Monday with the Jocks of All Trades podcast. Sorry we're running a little late, technical difficulties, but we're glad you are here. Um, I'm just checking to make sure that we're working everywhere because Facebook hated me. Um, First of all, as usual, I'm going to thank our sponsor, Caleb Kemper at Fresh Cuts. It's not just a haircut, it's an experience. I can attest to that. I don't trust anyone else with my hair. He does a really great job. It's never just to come in, get your haircut, and leave. We've had all kinds of chats, and I just love the guy. So if you do live in Marion, call him, text him. His Facebook page is Fresh Cuts with an S, and make an appointment. That being said, what's up, Kyle? We have not done a Monday in a hot minute.
It has been a while. It's a good episode to come back to, though, because free agency tampering started at 12 p.m. today, but really it's people are making deals left and right. And I'm pretty sure they tampered before the 12 o'clock period. I don't know why they call it tampering when it's just negotiations, but everything just kind of started off with a bang yesterday when Tom Brady announced that he's coming back. And I hate Tom Brady. Let's put it that way. He pisses me off. I don't know why he ever decided to come back. I guess he just didn't like hanging out with his wife and his kids, maybe, or his wife told him, "Can you go get me a coffee?" And he's like, "Screw you. I'm just going to football instead. I'm not going to get you a coffee." Like, I don't know why he came back. I guess he wants to run it back, unfinished business, but I'm not really sure how it's unfinished business because he's won 7 Super Bowls. Like, how is that unfinished business?
I just belong on the field.
Okay. Yeah. I hope he. No, I can't say that. That would be mean. But like, if he comes back at 45 and breaks his leg or tears something, like, I mean, you're 45, man. Like, it's eventually time to hang it up. So, listen, I'm sure he'll be good next year because he's Tom Brady. But it's just going to be annoying, Like last year and the year before. Did I dislike Tom Brady? Yes, but it wasn't annoying because I knew like this was the end of his career. He's getting his last ring in, whatever. Tampa Bay, new team, kind of. So I'm not used to them winning, but now it's just annoying, and I'm tired of him again. So,
I have a feeling he's going to come back and be around Bruce Arians. I'm sure you read the reports that things were tense between him and Brady before Brady made his decision.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Arians is going to potentially screw it up and then make Brady say, yeah, no, wait, you're right. I don't want to do this. So that's my hope. If I'm Tampa, I'm still looking to draft a quarterback maybe, even if Tom does come back this year.
Not a big believer in Kyle Trask, huh?
Wasn't when he was at Florida either. So he was good. I don't think he's going to be like a franchise like QB.
No. So that was the big thing that kind of started off the NFL offseason, I would say. I mean Russell Wilson, but like free agency period anyway, he kind of started off with a bang. Buccaneers are trying to re-sign everybody. I don't think it's going to be great. They got Ryan Jensen back. Alex Kappa, don't really know much about this offensive lineman, Alex Kappa, but he got paid like $40 million for 4 years by the Bengals. That just reeks of desperation because the Bengals are like, oh, Joe Burrow gets hit. Let's just sign this goober and overpay him. Makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
And they signed, was it Karras? Somebody else as well, and they overpaid him. So
Christopher,
yeah. They're getting offensive linemen to help, but it's like not good ones, and they're overpaying for them. So, listen, free agency is a time where you overpay everybody. And there's not a better example right now than Christian Kirk, who's a little bit above average receiver.
Yes, wait. I want to go backwards. I want to go chronological order.
Okay.
How everything fell out, because some of these things you can tell influence what happened later. Calvin Ridley got suspended for the entirety of 2022.
Yeah.
If you're a Falcons fan, you're crying internally because what do you got? Pitts? Patterson, who's technically a running you have zero answers now, regardless of whether Matt Ryan stays or not. They're screwed unless they do something. That happened. Chargers re-signed Mike Will. Were you happy with that?
Yeah, I mean, he disappears a lot. So, like, if anyone knows the headache that Mike Williams is, it's the Chargers.
Chargers.
So I think they're prepared for that. And when he's on, he's on. Boy, like he's a really good receiver. But like they still need help, I think, at that position. And right now in free agency, they're all in on defense. And we'll talk about that, like all in on defense. But Keenan Allen again is not getting any younger. Mike Williams on the outside. I still think they could use another receiver, and they might go after that in the first round of the draft. But to lock him up, he's still young. He's semi-productive. I think that's a good move. Yeah.
We've talked about it a little bit. Rodgers is returning to the Packers for 4 years for $200 million. Wow, way to overpay a chump, which is what he is at best. I'm sorry. I know we have Packers fans that watch this podcast, but you have to admit he is undeniably terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful. Like, there's no joke to it. So, yeah, I don't even need to talk about that more. We talked about that. Villanueva retired, which really just throws a wrench into the Baltimore Ravens plan. You let go of Orlando Brown, and now you struggle to find someone to replace him in Villanueva. And now Villanueva's gone. What do you do? Like you're just kind of like rock in a hard place, which you can't have, particularly if you want Lamar to flourish. He's got to stay upright. He can't be running out of the pocket every 3 out of 4 plays. So do you think they will go O-line in the first round then?
If not first, second, I think there are a lot of tackles that probably belong in the second, and teams might reach for them. I don't know if they're going to do that. They're usually pretty good on like drafting players where they should be. Like you rarely see the Ravens like reach for someone. So like I think if Trevor Penning's sitting there, I think that would be a solid player to get. But if not him, I feel like they'll probably wait. It just kind of depends, again, what kind of offense they want to run. Is it going to be Lamar running quarterback power plays, and just running the entire game? Like, do you even need a great tackle to do that? I don't know. But if you really want to evolve the passing game, you're going to need a better tackle than what you have. So, or just a better offensive line than what you have. So, there are still some guys out there in free agency that they could get. But we'll see if they go that route.
The next one we've kind of talked about a little bit. Wentz gets traded to Washington for 2 third-rounders, but the one is conditional second-rounder if he plays 70% of snaps, I want to say.
Yeah, I think so.
We've talked about it. Like, I just don't – this isn't the move they think it is, especially if you're the Colts. If that's all you could get for Carson Wentz in a QB-needy year, that's not good. Which, following that, I wonder if Wentz took up all the cap space, and that's why they released Landon Collins.
Landon did say something like that, but I also think no matter who they would have gotten a quarterback, he would have been a cap casualty. He is being paid like too much for his production. He was pretty good early in his career, but
the Giants, yep.
But where he is now, I just don't see. I think we'll scoop him up. Probably play him a little bit, but he's like, in terms of safeties, he was never the fastest safety, and the way the league is going, he'll be like a Mark Barron, another Alabama player who started at safety and moved to line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Someone like that just at the end of his career won't be able to play safety, probably just move up in the box quite a bit, and I think the football team, Commanders, they're going to need someone back there. But Wentz is being paid a lot of money, and they gave up a number of picks. So I just don't see how it's a good move for anybody, for the Colts or the Commanders. I don't. Colts don't really have a better option that I'm seeing, and Washington, I feel like, had better options. So
and the Colts are being linked with Marcus Mariota. They're being linked with Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think those are the only two I've heard. Like neither of them are upgrades by
Yeah,
any means.
I mean, Mariota a little bit because of his running ability, and you could sell me on Mariota and Taylor, JT in the backfield doing like what, like yeah, you could sell me on that. But we've seen in the playoffs that when push comes to shove, your quarterback needs to throw the ball effectively. Mariota has never been able to do that. I mean, he has a good arm, but
Well, and look at the Colts. They had Jacoby Brissett, Philip Rivers, Carson Wentz. Like, what do they all have in common? Is exactly what you just said. They do not have that big arm game, accurate game to make things happen. Philip Rivers was always terribly inaccurate. Like, yes, he's good, or he was at some point, but he was really great at throwing the ball away to somebody else too.
yeah, he was.
Brissett was just untested. Brissett was kind of a project from New England. Wentz was trying to revive his career, and based on what we're hearing behind the scenes with the Colts, he didn't do that.
And the
he
Eagles
definitely didn't do it on the
too.
field either.
Yeah, I heard the reports from the Eagles that he was really pissed off when the
They
Eagles
won.
kept winning, and Sproles got in a heated argument with him. So I really hope that's not true, but if it is, wow, that's really changed my opinion on him.
I hope
So
it is true because that'll be the first time you'll see me in an Eagles jersey. I'm buying a Sproles jersey if that's true.
yeah, Sproles was good in his time. Yeah, it's frustrating for sure for both of those teams. I think ideally both of those teams, if there were two good quarterbacks in this draft, they would be the two teams to like leapfrog everybody to go get one.
To get him. Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the next big one. So the Bears shipped Khalil Mack to the Chargers for a second round and a sixth round pick. My, what a freaking steal for Khalil Mack. Yes, he's 31. I get it. People are going to talk about age, but he's still a monster. He is still one of the best linebackers in the NFL. And one of the things that we were talking about with the Chargers is what failed them down the stretch was them protecting Justin Herbert and their defense and pressuring other quarterbacks. Didn't happen. But now you've got Khalil Mack and Bosa. Ooh. I
And
think they're one player away on that D line to make them the most dangerous D line in the NFL.
they just signed Austin Johnson from the Giants at D tackle.
Yep.
And they just got J.C. Jackson, the
I saw that.
outstanding corner from the Patriots, like 5 years, like $85 million. So they're really going all in right now.
They should.
And they should because Herbert's on his rookie contract. So like attack it while you have it. And that can shift Asante Samuel Jr. to the inside. They got a lot of good things happening right now for him for sure. Khalil Mack's old and he's getting paid a lot, but again, if you're just thinking of a 3-year outlook, it's a good move because if your window is 3 years with Herbert on his rookie contract, why not pay Khalil Mack this money and why not play him across from Joey Bosa? Like, it makes sense.
My comment was it's a championship move. That's the kind of move you make if you're pushing to win. Not, we just want to be better and convince them to be here. That's we want to win next year, which makes sense. Look, Denver just got Russell Wilson. That should be threatening to you if your defense is bleh. And suddenly you could be on the outside looking in if you end up being the weakest of the 4 teams in that division. Granted, I think it'll be the Raiders, but still, you're going to have to fight a little bit for it. And they're making good moves. They're making really good moves.
Chargers and the Chargers and Broncos both. I think they will get to the playoffs. It's just a little scary because they haven't gotten there yet. So like Herbert's pretty untested when it comes to the playoffs. So that might scare you a little bit if you're a Chargers fan. Like you're just automatically believing, well, Herbert's going to take us to the Super Bowl, but like we've never really seen him in the playoffs. But for the Chiefs, it just got that much harder. I mean, Chargers are improving, Broncos are improving, Raiders are the Raiders, but the Chiefs really have two, I think, potential really good playoff teams in the same division. And by them getting J.C. Jackson at corner with Asante and that pass rush, I mean, they're really locked and loaded to shut down the Chiefs offense. So will they? I don't know. It's pretty hard, but they're trying. So
yeah, I got to give them credit for that. I was impressed with that move. The big one, something we've been talking about, I think, for as long as a year ago now, I feel like it is. Deshaun Watson is cleared of all legal charges. I have to admit, that was shocking for me. I did not think that was going to be the outcome. But you know what? Due diligence, he's good. He's out there in the clear now. Great. Fantastic. The real question,
however, did he do it?
I know,
people,
yeah.
It's because you're clear of legal charges. So for a lot of teams, I think that's kind of like, well, we don't know. But Saints, Panthers seem pretty in on it. So we'll see what happens with that.
Because I know the Eagles kind of dropped out. I know the Steelers dropped out of that race.
Oh, Steelers dropped out. That makes sense because they got Mitchell Trubisky. So
yeah. Well, before that, Dolphins will probably be out, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Like, I don't know where he's going to go now. Like, even if you go to the Saints, who are you going to throw to, bud? Who are you going to throw to? Who are you going to pass? Who are you going to hand the ball off to? I wouldn't go to the Saints if I'm Deshaun Watson. Sorry. Panthers, almost the same question. Christian McCaffrey could be on the move.
I think they would probably trade. I would think they might trade him
for Deshaun
in that trade if they got Deshaun.
Yeah. It'd be great if you're a Texans fan. You finally have somebody to be excited about. Until, upper management.
Yeah, like McCaffrey and picks probably for Deshaun, I'd assume.
Yeah.
But
unless, of course, you trade McCaffrey after you trade for him for like a second-round pick a la DeAndre Hopkins. Let's see. What was it? Oh my gosh. This was awful. Okay. So Amari Cooper got traded to the Browns for a 5th and a 6th-round pick. Wow. Like, Browns won that trade hands down. Hands down. The only concern that I have is if you were concerned with your quarterback problem, is bringing in another really good receiver really going to fix the problem? I'm not sold.
Cooper and Odell are different. Like, I don't like how people are like, well, they shouldn't have traded for Amari Cooper because they had Odell, and look what we did with the Rams. But Matt Stafford and Baker are very different. The Rams' offense and the Browns' offense are very, very different, and a new change of scenery, a team that gave him life. They're different receivers in a different situation. So I think Cooper probably will be better than Odell. But you're right. A quarterback is the concern. So, and also they still probably need another receiver. So if it's just him out there, he's going to get doubled like crazy, and Baker's going to be back there not really sure what to do. So they definitely need another guy, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. Gallup is getting paid 5 years, $62 million. I mean, just set your cash on fire, I guess, Jerry Jones. Like, what a stupid move. Stupid.
I don't know what they're doing. The moves this offseason are outstanding to me. I mean, not just this offseason, but years past. Look at it. You paid Zeke Elliott a ton of money. Jalen Smith, who you just got rid of, a ton of money. Leighton Vander Esch, you drafted high. Micah Parsons, you drafted high. You paid La'el Collins a ton of money. DeMarcus Lawrence, a ton of money. Amari Cooper, a ton of money. Tyron Smith, a ton, and La'el Collins, they want him gone. Zeke Elliott should be gone. He's a running back. They're like one of the least, in terms of longevity, the worst position to have. DeMarcus Lawrence just got re-signed, 3 years, $30 million, but then they just paid Michael Gallup, who's coming off an ACL tear, 5 years, $62 million. I just don't they are good at identifying talent, but then just managing that. They never should have paid Zeke. Never. They probably should have kept Amari.
especially when Tony Pollard outplayed him all year.
Yeah.
All year.
I mean, and La'el Collins, that big contract, and then drafting like 14 linebackers, they just horribly mismanaged that. And then Cedric Wilson, who actually played pretty well this last year, he got signed by the Dolphins, I believe. So
yes.
now you're down to CeeDee Lamb and then Michael Gallup, who is coming off an ACL tear. So definitely not looking as good of a core as this last year.
The Cowboys, every move they make just reeks of desperation every year.
Yeah.
Every year. Okay, so Gallup, Brady retired at this point. Then the Browns released Jarvis Landry. Are you stupid? Okay, so everybody, just side note, Kyle and I are doing a mock draft Wednesday at 7 for Sideline GMs. This is our second one. This will include everything post like Wentz and Wilson trade, a couple changes. We haven't done it with free agency changes, but I'm sure we'll do another one very soon that does. But I'll give you a spoiler. Kyle and I both picked a receiver for the Browns. This happened after we did this mock draft, and I still would say both of our picks are correct for the first round. Because you cannot just have Amari Cooper for a quarterback back there, and expect it to work out. You're still going to need somebody else. And you let go of Jarvis? Jarvis is proven. Jarvis knows what he's doing. And you got rid of Jarvis. Who did you have? Donovan Peoples-Jones? What's that dude going to do? You got 4 tight ends now, it feels like. Dumb. Reeks of dumb from the Browns. Just reeks of it.
Yeah. Jarvis is an interesting character. I don't know if they wanted to get rid of him or he wanted out. Either way, is he better than what they have, minus Amari Cooper? Yeah. He is getting near the end of his career. I think that he's still very capable and good slot receiver. But if they do get a Garrett Wilson or Olave in the first round, I think it's warranted. But it's risky. But if it was a team like the Buccaneers or I don't know, a pass happy team, I wouldn't understand it as much. But since it is the Browns who really just operate with 2 running backs and, like you said, 15 tight ends, it's it's a little less scary than I think other people are letting on. It just kind of depends. Yeah, it is. It is. But hopefully there should be a good receiver there at their first round pick if that's where they're going to go. But we'll see what happens with that.
I agree. Regardless, offense or not, you cannot survive with 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
So they at least need another one. Granted, it is a deep draft. You could go something later, but I just don't know what they would need at that point in the first round that hasn't already gone before then. I would just take a good receiver and then double down on it later if you need to. Just double down. Pick from all over the place. You're the Browns. You're still not a championship winning organization. You could take whatever. It'll be fine. So, anyways, the two, something we both won't like. It's both Cardinals related. Connor is staying for 3 years with the Cards. I don't like it because I think he's an okay running back. I think he's a good story. Yeah, he did have a decent year, but it wasn't because he was part of the game plan. It felt more just like he got opportunities and he took advantage of the opportunities more than, he's part of what we're trying to do. You want to talk about a Pat's happy team? That'd be the Cards, which is why when Ertz re-signed with him, I was like, okay, yep, that makes sense. Good move. He needed to come back. But Connor, do you like Connor coming back to the Cards? I don't.
I mean, it's fine. I think they need a more dynamic running back. Edmonds, I believe, went to Miami, so he's off the table. Yes. Good pickup for Miami, by the way. I think they finally got a half decent running back. That's not Salvon Ahmed or Myles Gaskin, so that's nice. Gaskin. But for the Cardinals, they need more dynamic playmaking in the backfield. I don't think Connor's that. I think again this year was an aberration for him. He's going to be tough, physical, imposing when it gets down to the goal line. He's going to make those tough runs, but he doesn't really seem that good of a fit for their offense, if that makes sense. I don't really see how a tough, imposing, physical downhill running back makes sense with this kind of Arizona team, who's very much just like run and gun and like, you know what I mean? It doesn't really they don't coincide. So it's good. In terms of yes, they have a running back, but I think if I were the Cardinals, I would look at someone in the draft or see if you can trade for a McCaffrey, if that's possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think you were laggy there for a second.
What happened?
Or you were just like laggy. Like I heard your voice, but your mouth wasn't moving, and it kind of scared me a little bit. I didn't know you were into puppetry and stuff. Uh, so
Okay.
Trubisky goes to the Steelers. I don't even want to talk about it yet. Like I think it's an okay move. I think it's a band-aid move. But until I see anything out of him as like a starter again, like he's and Tim and I talked about this. He's serviceable, which is kind of what they need. Hand the ball off to Najee, get the ball out pretty well. He's serviceable, but it's not going to be a long-term solution. I don't know what to expect it to be. So for now, I'll grade it like a C plus.
No,
But
like
so for now, I'll grade it
I see so many Steelers fans saying, it could be worse or it's not terrible. And you're right. It could be worse and it's not terrible, but it could be a lot better. It just seems to me that they're so hell-bent on not getting a long-term replacement. You know what I mean? They've had the last 4 years to get one. Big Ben wasn't going to last, the next 4 or 5 years. Why have you waited so long to get one? Dwayne Haskins was never the answer. I'm sorry, Mason Rudolph was never the answer either. I don't know why they've waited so long to get one. I don't.
The name of that answer would be Bryce Young. If I knew that my team could suck and be in a position for Bryce Young, I'd do it. Which, to be fair, Bryce Young is not Tua. Bryce Young does not have injury concerns. Bryce Young is good. Bryce Young is young. He's really, really, really like I don't even say confident. He's probably my favorite quarterback I've ever seen at Alabama. He'll do something bad, and instead of putting his head down and taking his helmet off, and he's just like, okay. He'll come back. He throws a touchdown. He doesn't go, and he's just like, okay, good. That's what we need to do. Like, it scares me. But this kid has like the confidence of like a god, like a Greek god. Like nothing phases him. And I'm like, if I could take that guy, regardless of if he's the best quarterback, that is the kind of like mentality you want the quarterback to have. I threw a pick. No problem. I'm going to come out and do better next time. That's my bad. I misread that play. How many people do that? Like I know multiple times. I remember Jay Cutler. He'd do something stupid. Helmet goes flying. Like just starts yelling at everybody. Even Brady sometimes. Like I just, if I was going to suck and I'm a Steelers fan, this might just be me projecting, but either that or Stroud. Like either one, you've won the draft. So.
But again, that's next year, and it's a big if. Like we don't know. And they do have. I mean, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season, so I'm gonna go by like just historical standards and say that he's probably not gonna have one next year. And if he does, it's probably gonna be very close to a winning one.
Yeah.
With Trubisky, it's possible they definitely could have one, but.
And here's the other question for you, because I know you're going to say that. They're going to be middle of the pack with their pick. We know this. However, even if they are middle of the pack, how many teams that suck are going to need a quarterback? You know what I mean? Like, unless you're the Lions, but I think the Lions are going to address that this year. I don't think you can afford to wait around and then get rid of Goff and get nothing, and then you have nothing. Like, you need to take a project this year. And it would be very difficult for me to see them pick a quarterback this year and next year. And if you're the Jets, you already have a quarterback. If you're the Giants, you see what I mean? Like I can play this game with most people. Like he could fall to Pittsburgh, even if Pittsburgh is middle of the pack. But
I just think no matter like what year it is, people will like people always need one.
That's true.
Like the Jets, if Zach Wilson has a terrible year this year, guaranteed they'll be right back on board. Giants with Daniel Jones, they'll be right back on board. It's just he's just saying, we messed up for a couple years, but we'll go right back to it. I just think the Steelers waited too long. I do. Like their defense is good. They have so much talent there. But even last year, they weren't like the number one defense. They were struggling a little bit, So
And
it concerns me.
That's my point. With they may actually suck. Are you going to control the AFC? No, probably not.
No,
because just in your division, you got to get through the Ravens, which the Ravens aren't going to come in with like 18 injuries this year. We're going to have our full team back and whoever we draft. Then you're going to have the Bengals, who went to the Super Bowl, who proved our roster may not be great, but we'll still beat you. Secondly, and then thirdly, the Browns are making some big money moves. If I were a Steelers fan, I'd be a little concerned about my outlook for this upcoming year.
For sure.
With Mitchell Trubisky. You get what I'm saying? Like Baker Mayfield is even better than Mitchell Trubisky. Like that's not good. That's not good. So my only thought is if you're going with Mitchell Trubisky, you're hoping that he is like a miracle worker or something. Because if not, you may have your first losing season under Tomlin.
Yeah.
Because you're right, their defense is great, but it struggled last year. Mm-hmm. I think Flores could change that. He could. He's very defensive minded, smart guy. And I hope he does for the sake of sticking it to the league of I would have been a better head coach than half the people you hired. Right. I hope he does. Yeah. But I just don't see what the Steelers' long-term plan is. Like I don't. It's not Trubisky. It's not Haskins. It's not whoever Mason Rudolph. Like it's not any of those guys. It's not. So it's like the Colts problem. Like the guys that they have on roster right now, Sam Ehlinger and some other dude that I don't know. Like, what's your plan, buddy? Like you got to get somebody that can throw the ball. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought I'd bring this one up because I think you'll like this one. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm going to find out. Hassan Reddick is going to the Eagles, which is great because I'm pretty sure the Eagles finished 29th in pass rush last year. Yep. It wasn't great for them. Good signing, bad signing. How do you feel about it?
I think it could be good. I think it could be very good. He's a very versatile guy. He can play defensive end a little bit. He can play linebacker. Like he's going to be primarily a pass rusher with the ability to drop in coverage. However, you have to use him the right way. That's what concerns me. Like he's not just, he plays defensive end. We'll stick him at defensive end. Go make plays. Like he has to be used in a variety of ways to make himself worth it.
Interesting.
Incredibly productive. He stayed on the field. I think he has like 24, 25 sacks the last 2 years combined. Very good. They need that kind of pass rush help for sure, but it's just going to depend on if they can use him the right way. I really like him. He's from Philly. He went to Temple, so he's like a Philly guy, born and raised. So that's awesome. But it's just a big if. Can they use him the right way? So we'll see.
I'd like to see it, but you're right. It'll depend on what happens. So this one's more of a rumor, but I want to talk about it anyways. We both know the Denver Broncos desperately need a linebacker. They traded away Von Miller. Now the rumors are coming out that Bobby Wagner could go to Denver to pair with Russell Wilson. I mean, if I'm Denver, I'd take it. There's not a lot of big name guys that just roll into Denver and say, I want to sign with you.
Yeah. I'm seeing that. I'm seeing rumors of Chandler Jones as well on the outside. So like the Chargers, they're going to go all in. And players will take a little bit of a team-friendly deal to be on that team. So
truthfully, I think that's going to be my favorite division of football next year because every division game is going to matter.
It's going to be fun for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that rumor's there. We've already talked about Seth Wilson and Chase Edmonds. The Dolphins.
I mean, even though, like the Raiders are not terrible, it's going to be a lot of good teams.
My bad. Go ahead. It lagged out again.
No, you're good. I'm laggy. You're good. Keep going.
That's okay. I was just going to say, I think the Dolphins are officially out of the Watson race. They signed Bridgewater in addition to Seth Wilson and Chase Edmonds that you brought up. I just don't see them then trading for Deshaun Watson after you got a backup for Tua, a good backup for Tua, if Tua's out. So I think they're out. But you know what? I don't hate their signings. You addressed wide receiver. I don't know how I feel about Cedric Wilson, but he could be good. He might be better than Devontae Parker, which is a win. Chase Edmonds, yeah, you're right. Finally, a decent running back for that backfield. I still think if you're the Dolphins, you need to be drafting one anyways, but that's serviceable. That's good. I don't know. I kind of like what the Dolphins are trying to do. Help out Tua. My only concern is you're not addressing the O-line again. Like, it's great. You got weapons, but you still got to keep them upright.
It's a slow kind of building process for them because they don't know what kind of quarterback they have yet. So, like the Chargers going all in on Mike Williams and Khalil Mack, and the Broncos going all in on Russell Wilson, and then maybe Chandler Jones or guys like that. The Dolphins aren't sure what they have at quarterback, so they shouldn't spend an arm and a leg in free agency without knowing how they're going to build. So these are very low risk, maybe high reward kind of moves, probably low reward kind of moves. So they really should just try to keep building through the draft. They have a really good receiver in Jalen Waddle, a pretty good tight end Gesicki, an okay number of running backs. But you're right, it starts with the offensive line, which they desperately need to improve. Their defense isn't bad, but it could get better. But they're not going to make these moves, nor should they, without knowing what kind of quarterback they have going forward. So,
of course.
But
I guess I'm also on the side of how are you going to know what kind of quarterback you have if you don't keep him upright? So I get both sides, but like if you don't help him, of course you're going to say Tua was a bust of a pick. Yeah, what have you ever given him? Like,
right.
So I guess I'm just more forgiving with him than most analysts are about like he's just terrible. No, he's not.
Yeah.
Like give him a chance. Okay, so we've got the Dolphins. You're welcome to take this one. Cousins is returning to the freaking Vikings. Nice job, Minnesota. You've signed another crap quarterback again.
He's been, I think, over the last 5 or 6 years, Brad, he's been paid like $230 million guaranteed. That's absolute insanity. That's the kind of money. That's the kind of guy that I'm like, how is this man being paid that much money to stink?
He's not even in the top 10 best quarterbacks.
No, I don't even know if he's top 15. Like he has taken his team to the playoffs. Like he chokes in big moments. He's really not like, I don't know.
Freaking Case Keenum took them to the playoffs.
Right.
Kirk Cousins can't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, look what weapons he has. He has Dalvin. He has Thielen, Jefferson. I mean, the offensive line, I get it's a little underwhelming, but it's building, and honestly, that division is not that hard besides the Packers. The Lions are one of the worst teams to ever exist. The Bears have stunk. So, like, to not show up for that, I don't know why. Again, a team that might wait a little too long to get a replacement at quarterback. Oh, we're just going to hang on to Kirk Cousins because we don't know of a better option. And I guess, yeah, if that's your move, paying $35 million because you don't know what else to get, seems like a pretty horrible move, in my opinion. So
I'm at the point where they should just trade Kellen Mond if you're just going to keep bringing Kirk Cousins back. Like,
yeah,
Kellen Mond could be better than some of the guys that are starting right now, including Cousins, but he's not going to get that chance because the coaching staff didn't like him. Yeah. And the new guys just signed the crap guy to a better deal. So I would, if I was Kellen Mond, I'd be asking to be out of Minnesota at this point. And I'll give you the last one because I know you were talking about it. So Christian Kirk and Brandon Scherff went where?
So the Jaguars are signing everybody. Apparently, they got Christian Kirk like 4 years, $84 million. I really do feel bad for NFL teams that have to pay the receivers now because if Christian Kirk is getting 21 per year, how much is Devontae Adams going to get? How much is Chris Godwin going to get? They could literally ask for $30 million, and they should probably get it because they are so much better than Christian Kirk. So way to go, Jaguars. They got Evan Ingram, 1 year, $10 million. I like Brandon Scherff. That's a good way to build your offensive line to protect Trevor Lawrence. Then they signed a linebacker. I feel like he's from Seattle, maybe. Foyu or Atlanta, Foyu Olokun, 3 years, $45 million, and they signed Foley Fatukasi, 3 years, $30 million. Listen, some guys I don't think people even know, and they're getting paid $10 million a year. So they're putting all this money in. I understand it because they just want to get better, but
Ooh,
so
wait, the Jags signed Evan Ingram?
yeah,
Did you
it is
say that and
one.
I just missed it because I was reading?
1 year, 10
My
million.
bad.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's frustrating to be a Jags fan because probably half of these contracts will not look good in a couple of years, and they're probably going to try to get out of them. They're probably going to try to trade a lot of these guys because they're not going to live up to this contract.
However, at least, and I'll give Jacksonville this, at least they're doing their due diligence to try to help Trevor Lawrence because I didn't think they were going to do much of anything. But Kirk, Kirk is not an elite player, but he did a lot as the second fiddle in Arizona. Maybe that's what he needs to be in Jacksonville, and that'd be great. Like,
That's what I'm worried about, though, is like he was like second or third, sometimes even fourth fiddle with the Cardinals and
right,
Jaguars. If they're going to rely on him at number one, like, could he take that step, that leap? Absolutely. I think he
maybe.
does have a lot of talent, but I just like Laviska Shenault is not a number one. He's not ready. Marvin Jones is on the back half of his
Maybe.
career. Like I just don't know how reliant they're going to be on him for being the first option.
I don't
So
know. I am laughing since we're talking about free agency stuff. Houston declines Colts request to speak with Watson. Shocker.
yeah,
Shocker. I'm trying to see if there's anything else big. The only one that I'm looking at that I like, well, two, Lawrence is going back to the Cowboys. There's a shocker for you. And CJ Uzoma is signing with the Jets. I
yes,
like that move. I like that move.
yeah.
Give Wilson a decent tight end to throw to because I don't really think they had anybody before that.
And they also got the Jets got Laken Tomlinson from the Niners, the offensive lineman. Not a bad move to shore up your other guard position.
They re-signed Tevin Coleman. What a dumb idea.
Yeah. Carlton Davis went back to Tampa Bay. Got paid pretty good money.
Oh, I'm sure.
Devontae Campbell went back to the Packers. Will Disley went back to Seattle. Keandre Diggs went back to Seattle. So Larry Ogunjobi from the Bengals actually got signed by the Bears. So that's a big kicker for the poor Bengals. He played very, very well for them down the stretch. They're definitely going to miss him. So that pretty much wraps it up for free agency for today, but I'm sure more will continue to happen. So
I'm sure it will. Let's head on over to Spicy Meatball. I think it's you this week, isn't it?
it is me this week.
Go for it.
My spicy meatball is I think the Broncos should have traded for Deshaun Watson instead, and here's why. Listen, they won a Super Bowl, right? That's their goal, is to win a Super Bowl, and they think Russell Wilson gives them the best chance to do that. Here's the thing: Deshaun Watson definitely will cost less than Russell Wilson, which in turn leaves you more picks, more money to play with other positions, which you desperately need because the Broncos are not right now ready for a run because they have a lot of other needs. Number two, Sean Watson's a lot younger. So guess what? If you can't win the bowl in the next 3 years, then you have him for the next 10. And you have a chance to keep doing it. Define your long-term answer. Number three, Russell Wilson has been pretty healthy his entire career, except for when? Last year. He's getting older, and I don't think it's an anomaly that he got hurt last year. I think it's going to become the norm. It's going to be more, hurt more often because he's getting older. So with the picks, with the money, the injury that has happened, I understand Deshaun with his legal troubles and all of that. It's a big kind of red flag if you're the Broncos. But to me, it seems like other teams are getting over it pretty quickly. And I feel like you have as good of a chance, maybe even a little bit better of a chance to win the bowl with Deshaun Watson than you do Russell Wilson. Um, yeah, and
Yeah,
you have more picks, you have more money to do other things to address the needs that you have. So
that's a good point. I'll kind of add also, like, yeah, the Wilson trade was good, but if you don't get a ring in 3 years, like,
yeah,
that trade was not worth it, unfortunately. But he's definitely better than Drew Lock. So, I mean, beggars can't be choosers, right?
yeah.
Let's take out the trash. I saw it, but I know I usually get to handle the hate on him. You have at it, but I'll emphasize it.
Yeah, Jackson Mahomes again blaming others for his problems. I saw on Facebook and Twitter recently that he is frustrated at people online for bullying him. He thinks the internet is toxic. Well, like of course it is. What do you expect? A lot of this you bring upon yourself for being an idiot. Like if you're popular, if you're famous, and you're going on social media regularly and making an idiot of yourself on a daily basis, like expect some nasty words thrown at you. Like, is it right? No, of course it's not right to belittle someone else or to call them trash or to call whatever. But like when you have that kind of responsibility, when you have that kind of high profile with your brother being Patrick Mahomes, like expect it. Or here's the thing, I don't know, maybe Jackson Mahomes, get off social media. Like, don't subject yourself to it. Just leave. Like, it's
Right,
not
like
that
just
hard. Like, you don't have to go on there, man. Like, you can leave. It's okay. So, this culture, not just him, but like people going on social media and then receiving backlash or receiving, you know, hate comments or being belittled or spending all their time on social media, then getting mad at their life because they're bored, whatever. Like there's a way to get around it, and it's called just get off social media a little bit more and go back to reality a little bit more, and you might find that your problems will disappear. Some of them, at least. So just don't use it. Stop being an idiot. And instead of taking videos yourself being an idiot, just put your phone down, enjoy Chiefs games, grab a beer, eat a hot dog, like just get off of it. So that's it.
yeah, it's self-inflicted. That's why I don't feel
Yeah,
bad for him.
for sure.
Let's wrap up a couple things here. Let's go to flashbang. I only have one. Is it Wilson or Olave?
Whew. I'm gonna go Olave just because I think he's a little bit more smooth and a little bit more safe. I think Olave has all the traits that you want in an NFL starter. I think he could easily be like, maybe Keenan Allen, maybe Adam Thielen type, like just someone that's safe, that will get open, that will catch the ball. Definitely faster than I thought he was based on his combine results.
Yeah,
I think he'll fit in kind of any kind of system. Garrett Wilson, I feel like, will be dependent on the situation that he's in. Um, like, if he gets plays for him, if he gets a good quarterback, then he will be productive. I think Olave can flourish pretty much anywhere. I think Wilson's going to need a specific place. Still very good receiver for sure, but I think Wilson's going to need a better place for him to fit in. So
I agree. I also would say that Olave is just the speed. People are going to want the speed more than anything else. That's going to mean a lot down the road.
yeah,
Like, yeah, Wilson is good. Wilson's more of like a Swiss Army knife kind of receiver. Olave
yeah,
is just a like get down there and make it happen, explosive kind of playmaker. So you can't really go wrong with either of them. But if I had a choice, I'd go Olave first.
yeah.
And after the time that he put up, he could go in the top 10. He really could.
He could. Yeah,
I say the same about someone else, um, but I'll save that for our mock draft. This might just be me dreaming a little bit, but if he goes there, I'll be happy. And it seems like a Ravens pick, but we'll talk about that later. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up with some baller bill, y'all. Zion wants a trade out of New Orleans. Let me hang on. Oh, this hurt my eyes. I'm still trying to get used to this. Um,
I
I'm
thought
sorry.
when you first wrote this, you meant he wants to trade his Burger King membership for a McDonald's membership. I wasn't.
Yes. Yeah. He wants out of New Orleans, which would be great if you'd actually be on the court and actually play the game instead of looking like the 500-pound king that you're looking like right now. Like, I don't think you're in any position to negotiate wanting out of New Orleans.
Nope.
I'm sorry, but you have not done enough for even teams to give New Orleans what you're probably worth.
Yeah.
Right now, I'd give a second rounder and a role player for Zion Williamson because there's too many questions about whether he's going to make it or not.
Yeah.
And according to JJ Redick, a guy that we both respect, a guy who's been around for a long time, is like he's a terrible teammate. And I'm like, okay, if JJ is saying that, JJ's been on some dumpster fire teams and has never said anything.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's going out and smacking Zion has to mean something. So I think Zion's career could be really short. I really do.
Yeah, it could be. He seems like the kind of guy that, again, I don't know him, but who was number one consensus, pick, recruit, high school player, everything, and now he's faced opposition and he can't handle it. So,
or worse, when you know you're good, you know you're going to go to a bad franchise. Like that's part of it.
Yeah.
Like that's just what happens. And I would not call the Pelicans a good franchise by any stretch, but
they're making moves. I mean, McCollum's not bad there. They're not totally helpless over there. That's why I think he should just step on the court and see how they do. Ingram's pretty good too.
Right.
So,
but he has yet to even talk to McCollum since McCollum was traded. I'm like, that's babyish.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of babyish, Baby Bronny. Apparently, if you draft Baby Bronny, you get LeBron. From what he made comments on. But the word around the league and execs are like, he's not worth a first-round pick, let alone a second-round pick. I'm like,
no.
Ooh, yikes. So, I mean, is somebody going to be desperate enough to do it? Is my question.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, it's going to happen. Bronny will be drafted pretty high, and then LeBron will come. So, or they'll make a deal before the draft, and LeBron's like, because he basically runs the NBA anyway. He'll say, no, you don't pick him. You don't pick him. You don't pick him. Yes, I want you to pick him in the second round, and I'll come to your team. So
I feel like it's either going to be the Kings or the Pacers.
Kings or the Pacers. I feel like he's not going to move that far. So Kings could be right.
I couldn't see him going to the Clippers after playing for the Lakers. He's not going to go to Boston because Boston and the Lakers don't like each other. That ain't going to happen.
I can see the Clippers, honestly. I could see
Maybe. If not, here'd be a weird one for you, and people would drag him forever. How about Golden State?
Oh, that'd be awful.
Yeah, but I think he honestly would go anywhere.
Yeah,
and that surprises me. Anyways, last one. I know you're probably tired of hearing it, but I'm tired of hearing about him. Simmons is just still a garbage can about leaving Philly. Like he came into Philly, couldn't play because of his back problem. And I'm like, oh, that's very convenient, isn't it? Like, why did you even travel? You knew what you were going to get coming into this. And then for Kevin Durant and Kyrie to both just be like, we did this for Ben. What has he done for you? He hasn't even touched the court since he's come there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be saying he's my teammate at all yet until he's proven anything. Because the last I've seen of him, he couldn't shoot or dunk over Trae Young. And you want me to say that's my teammate? Nah, you won't be my teammate. Come out here and play the game against Philly. Like, this is where it matters. And you can't even I hate it. I hate him so much. And I love that he's just like, well, I'm just not healthy to play right now.
Yeah,
like,
I think he definitely.
Okay, so you're leaving KD on his own because Kyrie, I have my own issues with Kyrie. Like, I've just discovered I just hate the Nets now because they have Kyrie, Ben Simmons. I don't hate Kevin Durant. I don't.
Nah.
But I also am not going to root for Kevin Durant playing with trash can Kyrie Irving And I have mental health issues. Ben Simmons, who even then went back and backtracked and said, "Oh, it wasn't about mental health." Yeah, we know, we got it. Oh, did you know that now he's going to try to sue to get all his money back that he had to pay to Philly for sitting out so many games?
Yeah, he wants all of it back. Yep.
I hope you lose that massively. Like, you can't just not because you don't like. If I just stop showing up to my job because I said it's mental health related, are they going to keep paying my salary? Probably not. Like, it's just so goofy. I hate him. I'm done with him. Like, I don't want to hear any more about Ben Simmons ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope his career is done.
He probably not, unfortunately. But yeah, he kind of used mental health. We know that as just a way to get out. And mental health is a very real thing and affects a lot of people on a daily basis with their jobs. That's a very real reason to stop working, to quit, to focus on their self. Like, that's real. That happens. So to take advantage of that is pretty horrible. Zay Jones just got signed 3 years, $30 million to the Jaguars again. Wow. Zay Jones. So they have a lot of money and they're getting everybody possible. So
yeah, but nobody consequential.
No, I would say besides Brandon Scherf.
I'll give Kirk credit. Kirk will probably be better than we think he will be.
Yeah.
Because you know what they're gonna do. They're gonna sling the ball like crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't know.
Jaguars are just playing Madden over here, apparently, and signing everybody.
I'll be impressed when they actually pull in like somebody really big. But
I don't think that's gonna happen because it's the Jaguars. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Well, but you know what? If they can make all the right moves, they're making a smart choice. The Colts don't have a quarterback. They don't know what they're about to do. The Texans ain't gonna have Deshaun Watson. They don't know what they're about to do. The Titans are the only team that's in your way, and even then, they're mediocre at best half the time.
Yeah,
because Tannehill is garbage, and if Henry's off the field, you have a really good chance of beating them.
Yeah,
and a lot of their O linemen are retiring or leaving. So, if you can make the right moves, the Jags could be in the playoffs, which is disgusting because they're not great, but they could be because that whole division is awful.
Yeah, I think they have the quarterback to potentially do that. It's just like, can Doug Peterson right the ship? Can he have a good game plan? Like, they don't have elite weapons, but they have decent enough to establish a good offense. You know what I mean? Like, Etienne and Robinson.
And
like,
they let go of Carlos Hyde.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, they're a good pair. The receivers now, like, better than average, I would say, but nowhere near like a number one kind of guy. Dan Arnold, they need to improve that tight end position for sure. But they have a decent enough offense on paper to establish, like, a playoff team in that division for sure. But like,
at least have them compete, and that was the problem. Last year they couldn't do that.
No. So you gotta hope for the Jaguars fans' sake, for Trevor Lawrence's sake, for Doug Peterson's sake, that they can do something. But
we'll see.
We'll see.
Not cold, but all right, everybody. Well, thank you for hanging with us for an episode of Jock Talk. Again, we will be here Wednesday at 7 for Sideline GMs with Mock Draft 2.0. Nothing will be up this Friday, so you'll have to catch us next Wednesday if you miss us this upcoming Wednesday. Thanks for hanging. Like, subscribe, share as usual, and we will see you guys later.
Bye.